Okay, go ahead, Susie.
Okay. Dr. Madeline Plate discovered early in her working career that a corporate job would not be the vehicle she needed to achieve her goals and dreams that she wanted for her future. In 1982, she joined a company that allowed her to be an entrepreneur inside a corporate structure. Today, she oversees 28 offices with 550 licensed professionals. She has become a self-made multimillionaire by helping others accomplish their dreams and aspirations. She serves over 12,000 clients and manages 340 plus million in assets under her management. She was inducted into the Wall of Fame and recognized as a Financial Independence Council member. In her presentation today, you're going to learn how to create filters for your priorities and what is important to you, how to organize your calendar and your responsibilities and create a clarifying visual, how to become comfortable and emotionally grounded to stop being a people pleaser, and to work in your strength and manage your priorities when you have the most creativity and energy. So it's my honor to introduce Dr. Madeline Plate.
There we go. I unmute myself first. So thank you for inviting me to speak today. Thank you for that introduction, Susie and Angeline, for you putting this tremendous virtual GSFE meeting together. You always do a fantastic job. I strive to be better because of you and my ability. So I'm going to work on attending that Zoom educational seminar. So, but when COVID hit, 2020, it was interesting. There were a lot of things in my life that were different, and I was not really the front seated person in our business. I'm in business with my husband. He's been with the company for 44 years. I've been with the company for 42. And because of health concerns and issues, I actually was a mom and I did horses 3 hours a day and fundraisers and that sort of thing. And I had to really step up and be the front end person because of health concerns that he was facing. And Zoom hit at the same time. Virtual hit at the same time. I was horrible at it. But anyway, I've gotten better. I'm still learning. So, but I would not do well by it. But anyway, first 25 appointments I did, I produced zero results. But I've learned and I'm much better than that now. But appreciate you taking your time to participate in this GSFE virtual training. I'm a financial coach and I help families, Main Street families, to know and understand the rules of the money game and to win the money game. And today they're not. They're failing. And that's not what I'm here to talk about today. But because I do run offices and teams, I also do incredible people development. So I hire and train and develop people in our company, and they've had the ability to take them to multi-$100,000 incomes. But there's some teaching that has to take place. And I think on this particular subject, I'm the greatest student. I think I am benefiting from this more than any teaching that I could do. So, a lot of you know who I am. You've been in my home, and I live life full throttle. So you were here. A lot of you were involved in International Kindness, the Prelude to Kindness, which was a dinner hosted in my home, and then International Kindness Day on November 13th. I live in a home that we purchased in order to serve the community. And in 2.5 years, we have sat over 400 people for dinner. So fundraisers. So I'm saying this for a reason. And you all came into the home, and our campaign, we united 4 nonprofits with GSFE leading the way through the threshold to the hearts of those who wanted to give from that participate in GSFE. And Susie, it's so great that you're going to be at Menifee next week because they are the top giving chapter. So they are going to be recognized with lapel pins that have hands that are holding a heart, and it says Giving Heart GSFE with a little pink stone. So I think it's tremendous that you're going to be there. But we had a little competition going on. We finally figured out they were just the greatest. They gave the most, and so they just had a lot of involvement and desire to really. And then they did the senior citizen parade. So that the numbers that ultimately at the end of the day is we ended up. If some of you were here for the packaging for senior citizen gifts that night, when we packaged them, we packaged 600. I believe we ended up at about 715 senior citizen care packages that we gave out. And it's so incredible when you meet somebody in the community and they say like, well, my mom got one of those. So that was really tremendous. And it wasn't the personal hygiene need packages, which there's nothing wrong with that. It was a teddy bear, an ornament, gloves or socks and lotion. So that was really great. And again, I don't head up any of these nonprofit groups. I just have the ability to put to sort of blow them up to get things to happen. And so then with the kids through Molly, the organization Molly that we came alongside, we did over 1,000 toys to kids, guys. So congratulations on your heart to give and your heart to serve and be a part of that campaign. So you should be very proud of what we ended up doing. But I tell you that story because you're here in the house and we do a fantastic job. You met my husband. We're a machine. Okay. We know how to put all that on. But in October, and the reason I'm going to train on this subject is because I realized I needed it more than anyone. And so in October, my husband went away. He is involved in men's ministry, and he took 48 men to a boot camp called Band of Brothers. We helped pay for them because they couldn't, we split the cost with them. If they paid half, we paid the other half. And he was gone for a weekend while they were all up at Band of Brothers, and I was left alone in my home, which is a serious thing because I don't sleep. I'm up till 2 o'clock. I don't eat. I just do a lot of stuff while he's gone. And I sort of hit the wall. And this is in October. Mind you, we still had International Kindness Day to get through, and we still had the campaign to finish up, and I still had Christmas, and I had a grandchild due the week before Thanksgiving. So all by myself in the house, I hit the wall. Something happened with another organization I was working with that made me have to stop and do some self-reflection. And I don't know about you all. I am really high intensity person. I don't drink coffee. You don't want me drinking coffee. I went to see a Scripps internist. My husband went with me, and he was asking me, "How's your life? How you doing?" And my husband threw me under the bus by saying, "If she was a car, her engine light would be on red." And I said, "Yeah, but I don't want to change it. Don't try to sedate me, right? I like living like this." And a lot of people benefit from it. But I really had to stop and think over that weekend, what am I doing? I just hit the wall and had to come to a point of self-reflection. And I have to be honest with you, I like living a full throttle life. I like participating and bringing change. So I had to stop and say, what are the things what are my priorities? What's important to me? And it's ironic because that weekend, because he wasn't here, I had time to go wash and detail my car, which I realized I really like doing that, but I never get to do it because I'm so busy. So I'm going to go through 3 things that I feel like really helped me in being able to identify what my priorities are and how do I put, and you all, see, I'm live life large, so you all know that, and perhaps some of you do as well. And this might help you at least to achieve your valued priorities and really look at a way with being powerful and intentional strategies to do some goal setting and some time management. So one of the things that I had to do, and I'm going to stop right there, when I sat and I started thinking, I had to stop and think, where is it that I get the greatest recognition? Where is it that I get the greatest reward? And where is it that I get the greatest appreciation? Now, mind you, I was putting together those 4 nonprofits, plus I do stuff at my church. And the night that you all were here, or the night we did the senior citizen packaging, that magazine, Hidden Vine magazine, was here. And they ended up featuring GSFE International Kindness Day. But the publishers walked into my office. I was doing something. There were like 25, 30 women here. We had a fashion show. We did a baked potato bar. We did a nacho bar. And they walked in and said, "Are you responsible for all this?" I said, "I'm not responsible for any of it." And I truly believe that. I'm really just a conduit for God. And I just love to impact other people. But I had to stop and say, where am I getting the greatest appreciation, greatest recognition, greatest reward? And the answer to that question was from my company that I work for. Now, mind you, I haven't been really working a lot. I don't have to because we built a business and it pays a residual reoccurring income. But it made me stop and think about where I was putting my time and my energy and my efforts. And I reevaluated everything and made some changes. So here's how I went about it. First thing I had to realize is that I had to go from just existing. And that doesn't sound really like just existing, does it? But I felt like it. I felt like I was like almost on a conveyor belt or a treadmill and just running, 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 running. So living at an unsustainable pace. I'm getting older. I'm going to be 67 this year, and coming to the realization that probably not so much the desire, the seed of desire or my drive or my motivation, it hasn't lessened, but my physical ability has lessened. And so that can be a challenge sometimes with the things that I'm doing. I end up paying a price. I do 45 people for a dinner, and we set up tables and chairs and all of that, and I'm on my feet for 2 or 3 days. By the time we get to 2 or 3 days after, I'm just depleted. Too many demands and responsibilities. And I hope that some of you can relate to this. I was feeling overwhelmed, overcommitted, overworked. I was feeling burnt out. And the passion had begun to be depleted. And so when we did the big packaging night, I came home. My grandchild had been born. My grandchild was born November 21st. We did the packaging like December 6th or something like that. So I was going to my granddaughter and my daughter's house every day to help them. And then I came home to do the pack. I got home like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The packaging was going to start I was so burnt out that, horrible to say, because it's not like me. I'm usually the front and center person. While everybody was packaging, I was in the kitchen doing dishes because I thought I have to get this done. So burnt out, passion gone, energy stripped. I feel oftentimes just exhausted in the middle of the afternoon. And so that's a challenge. When you're sitting at a traffic light and you think you might fall asleep, that's a challenge. The tasks were taking more effort. And what I mean by that is there was not a harmony in myself. There wasn't a flow. And I don't know if you've ever just trying to put an earring in because you're in a hurry, or trying to do something and you knock something off the desk because you're in a hurry. I felt like I had lost my rhythm. I had lost my harmony. And I have to confess quietly, being edgy and impatient started to show up, and probably to the number one person I live with mostly. Actually, my husband and my dogs, but I don't show edginess and impatience to my dogs. They're just loves. But to my husband, I became edgy and impatient. And that's not a good place to be, especially when you're married to a man that many of you have met who's just as adorable as my husband. So I had to ask myself, am I really achieving my goals and my dreams and my goals? And so I started to do a little bit of reading and research. I'm going to recommend a book at the end of this. There's actually a couple. But I go to a man who's a neurologist, and he's very direct and upfront because he works on my body. He works on the pain in my body. And he says things to me like, something wound this tight is going to snap, you know? And he said to me, constant stress denies and shuts down the brain's creativity. And I really had to take that in and receive it and think about it. So it stops your dreaming. You live in, we're constantly talking about not being in the anxiety brain and living in the executive brain, which I've caught from him. You can literally throw your body into a physical stress state by having anxiety and just thinking thoughts of anxiety. So that's something I had to deal with. So here's the number one thing. This is how I started this process. I did 3 things. Number one is I identified my priorities. And I sat here that weekend and I put them on, I just wrote them on a piece of paper, rough draft, scratch paper. And one, believe it or not, one of the things on my list is detailing my car, spending time with my husband, being able to grow as a person. So you want to identify, create an inventory list. What would be on your list if you were really to sort out what are your priorities? What is most precious? What is most important to you? Who do you want to spend time with? What do you like to do? Excuse me, I'm recovering from a virus. Where do you want to see growth and development in your life, and in what area? Because that's a challenge to be able to find the time to put into seeking that growth and development. So I had to take a pause. So I did my rough draft inventory. My husband came home from Band of Brothers, scooped me up, and we ran up to Dana Point to stay up there for a couple of days. And I was kind of quiet about my doing a 180, didn't chat with him at first because I wanted to let him tell me all about Band of Brothers. But I had to take a pause. And that's hard for me to do. I don't pause for any reason. I'm always on the run. And so looking at the inventory, creating a schedule of the things to do, time for yourself, for your spouse and your family, personal development, spiritual growth, friends and relationships, quiet time and reading, plans, planning, shopping so that you can eat healthier meals. That was on my list. Forecasting goals, fitness, outdoor activities, being creative, gardening, creating, cleaning. There's my cleaning and detailing my car. Financial maintenance is a big deal for me. I live in a big home. There's some pretty sizable projects that are expensive that need to be done in this home. So I made the list. Excuse me, hope I can control that. And as we sat up in Dana Point, I began to type it into my phone and I call it my filter. So I created a filter in which I push everything that comes before me through that filter. And if it doesn't pass the checklist, it's like an alert to me because I'm really willing to do just about anything and everything. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no, thank you. So while we're sitting in Dana Point and I'm typing in the detailed inventory in my phone so that I can reflect on it, I get a phone call while I'm sitting there from somebody who I'm very endear to. And she says to me, she tells me there's a little bit of background information, and she says, I'd really like you to fly here on the 18th and stay through the 25th. She was in Colorado. And because I'm so endeared to her, my old self would have tried to figure out how to do that. And I looked at my filter and I said, I can't. I'm so sorry. Not this time. Maybe next time. That was hard for me to do. The second time I got called to the church, my husband and I got called to a church partnership meeting. And I went in with the assumption that partnership means husband and wife partnership. Okay. Well, it wasn't that at all. It was a small group and it was a plead from the pastor. He spoke in front of the room to partner with the church. Now, again, I'm a very giving person and I want to help and I want to be involved and I want to support and I want to participate. And so he did the plea from up front and then he handed out commitment cards. And so we're sitting there and he had finished speaking and I'm sitting next to my husband and I'm looking at my filter. And the pastor came and stood over the top of me. It didn't fit through my filter. And I just told him, I'm really sorry that I'm living life full throttle, but I can't sign the commitment card. I would have never done that had I not taken the time to do some self-reflection, to pause and really identify what is it that's important to me. And I've come to the realization that time, obviously, I have less road in front of me than I have behind me. And time is just something that you can never replace. It's so highly valued. You can replace your home, your car, your money, all of that, but you can't replace your time. And while I'm spending time doing all of these other things, I'm not spending time with the items. And there's about 15 items on my inventory list that make up my filter. And I'm not spending time with my husband. I'm not spending time with that whole list that I just went, the spiritual, the growth, the reading. And now I have a grandchild who is 10 weeks old. And I've been able to now spend the time every day, Monday through Thursday, over there until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon to reset and balance my daughter. It's not so much for the grandchild, it's more for my daughter. So that was one of the exercises I did. The other thing I did is I read a book that I recommend called At Your Best, and I'll put it on the screen at the end. And what it identified is that it said, recognize your sweet spot of time in a day. And I sort of renamed that sweet spot. Even though we have 24 hours in a day, not all is equal. So I re-identified it as the thrive zone. Identify and protect your thrive zone. And what they're explaining in the book is that you really have about 3 to 5 most productive hours in a day. And so the book suggests that during that thrive zone, that 3 to 5 hours, that you have the highest energy is the highest, your mind is the clearest, your focus is sharp, you're at your greatest level of enthusiasm and energy. Do your best when you're at your best. So that caused me to stop and think and reformat my life a little bit because I don't know about you. I obviously am busy and I get up in the morning with pre-thought through agenda of what I want to accomplish today. And oftentimes I get to the end of the day and I have not accomplished any of it because other things moved in, other things came at me. And so I really thought I need to get control of when I'm at my best so that I'm able to perform at my best. And I find it interesting that outside the thrive zone, this is what happens to me and maybe to you as well. we're less productive, less creative, interruptions, less accurate, less energy, less engaged, less cheerful, less thoughtful. And I know for me, in the morning, I can get up and get a call from a client. Not even, I mean, I could be on my way to the fitness center at 6:30 a.m., but I have clients throughout the United States, so some of them are on the East Coast, and I can get a call from a client, never make it to the fitness center, and end up sitting at my desk working on client services for 8 to 10 hours, but never get back to what I wanted to accomplish for the day. Now, obviously, I do a great job servicing the clients, but taking control so that I'm able to progress my life forward more effectively. And through my reading and research off on that little cell phone where it says social networks, an individual on a daily average person every day touches a device of some sort, like your phone, 2,617 times. Now, I didn't believe that. So I actually researched it a couple of different times because I wanted to make sure the person that was quoting those numbers was accurate. Someone who's a heavy user touches their device 5,427 times a day. And then you have to consider that every time you're redirected and interrupted, what does it take for you to get refocused? And I don't know about you all, but for me, as I've gotten older, my mind's not as sharp. So I literally can leave to go into a room to go get something and get to the room and forget what I was going to go get. Okay. So I find at my desk the same thing. What was I doing? What was I doing? So the encouragement is during that thrive zone, don't be answering tasks and emails and that type of thing. Stay focused on what it is, the greatest thing that you can accomplish for that time that will progress your life forward and help you be more effective. Then the third thing, so I keep this pretty simple because I train teams and I have to keep it simple. The other thing I did is I worked on a weekly activity planner. And again, I had to pause to do this. I had to stop things, my life, full throttle, to take the time to really work on this. And so what I did is I took out an activity. I've just printed it off of Google. You can just Google weekly activity planner. And I did on the back of it, I did an inventory, everything I have to do for the week. Okay. Get up in the morning, get to the gym, walk my dogs. I walk my dogs 1.5 miles every day. I even put laundry, grocery shopping, everything on there. Then once I had all at date night, I do team meetings on Thursday nights, whatever it is, GSFE meeting. Then I went back to the weekly activity calendar and I wrote it all into the time slot. And what was very interesting, once I finished, I took a highlighter and I took a green highlighter and identified that Thrive Zone time for myself. Then I took a yellow highlighter and identified the rest of the time. So I know I have control. Now everything doesn't work out perfectly, and there's days I'm supposed to do something and I can't, so I've got to shift it to a different time zone because I want to make sure I get it accomplished. But it has helped me so tremendously to stay on task, to stay on focus. And it does require that I have a little bit of discipline to chase that schedule. But that's okay because I have a lot of discipline. So be honest with you, one of the things I put on there was laundry. I do my laundry now on Fridays, and I used to do my laundry on Sunday nights. And I would be so resentful and frustrated that I was still doing laundry and putting it away. So now it's kind of a strange feeling when Friday's over with and my laundry's all done. And I'm like, I'm thinking Saturday I still have to do laundry because I'm used to doing that. But I don't. It's all done. It's all finished. And I make sure it's finished. Even if sometimes at 9 o'clock at night, I'm clearing the last laundry basket up the stairs to put away. But it's just been so freeing for me to take that type of control. And then it's allowing me to work more effectively so I can drive and push my business more effectively. Now, I do this with my team. I ask them to take time to identify their week and what they're doing. And I have a young man who's on my team. Now he's not married and doesn't have kids, so he's not having to manage all of that. But once he filled out his weekly activity schedule, he realized he had 44 hours a week he was wasting. Because again, he filled it all in, he highlighted all the other time, and he was able to count up those hours. So he now knows that whatever it is he's doing, he didn't need to confess that to me. I'm sure young people are into video games and all that type of thing. It was wasting his time, which was could potentially waste his life. So your time, I find even today that every day is a battle for how your time and energy is your output. And I've made mistakes. I've gone to some things, agreed to do some things that after the fact, in my new way of thinking, my new mentality, I came away thinking I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have put my time there. And sometimes they're in the thrive zone. So I'm still making adjustments, but I'm learning quickly how priorities are playing out and where you spend your time. Time, you're going to be able to unlock your time and have more available time again to progress your life forward and your potential and your freedom. Again, I feel so much freedom because of the choices that I'm making are allowing me to live better. And so the book that I'm going to recommend to you is called At Your Best. Actually, there's another one called The 12-Week Year, which is a little more intense. It teaches you how to do in a year what you would do in a year in 12 weeks. That's a great book, but very good read. This one is the one where we got the time zones, where he talks about the green zone, the yellow zone, and the red zone. And so I wanted to share that with you and hope that it helps you like it's been able to help me. I really have experienced a little bit of a change. And I'm reevaluating what I'm going to end up doing between now and the end of the year. And because I am a spiritual person, I really am seeking God's guidance there because I don't know that I'm going to end the year doing all the things that I did last year. Something's going to be different. Something's got to change. And it might be that I take more opportunity to do things with my family and my husband rather than all those crazy things I was doing, you know. So I want to open it up. I don't know, Angeline, if this is a good time to open it for questions. But again, I try to keep it simple so that you can follow the guide. It's not doesn't need to be complicated. But I encourage you just to stop and do, and maybe you've already done this. Maybe you're ahead of me in your journey and your maturity. It took me really hitting a wall to be able to say, I've got to change. And then I'm going back to work in my company, which I really have, when you're doing 400 people for dinner for fundraisers and events, you really aren't working, right? But, and I've decided to go strive with my company and become a greater achiever so I can get more recognition, appreciation, and reward for them because they've never failed in doing that in 42 years, regardless of my production. I'll turn it back over to you, Angeline. Oh, can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay, you have 5 minutes, but also
Yeah.
we want to, if when the 5 minutes is up, that you add at the end of our official meeting, please stay and Dr. Madeline will stay and answer your questions too.
Yeah.
Okay, because we want to make sure you do that. And so just maybe like one quick question somebody has that need answer. Anybody?
Could she put that last slide back up again with the information?
Yes, of course.
Please? Thank you. Great talk. Thank you.
Oops. Let's see
Oh,
here.
that's her house.
Yeah, that's my
Beautiful
house. There you go. Yeah. Well, in the
And I will take these pictures and you're gonna get the recording too, so you will have this pictures but I'll take the pictures too.
and did you have a question, Kay?
Okay, let's see here.
Not a question specifically. I just was really good to hear the direct thoughts and planning and just organizing your life. And that's very helpful for me. So
Awesome.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and
Yes.
one thing I just want to make a comment too. This is really kind of like touched me because I live with this philosophy, Dr. Madeline, and I started 5 years ago. And sometimes some people that even dear to me would say something that I would feel guilty that couldn't do this. But then I remind myself, I don't use the phone as a filter. I have something else that I said to myself, stick to your priorities.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean you're not nice to this person. You
Right.
just have to say no now,
Right.
but maybe next time when there is a time for it that you would say yes. But to me, that is one of the most difficult thing for me is to say no to the dear person
Mhm.
that has helped me a lot, But I say no because that day has been, or the day that that person wanted, that I already made a commitment to somebody else.
It is. It
That's,
is
I think, the
difficult.
hardest thing.
It is difficult. It is. And especially to the pastor at the church because
Mhm.
it has a spiritual undercurrent, and all of the spiritual biblical principles and all that. But I just knew that I could not do that. I did not honor that commitment. But anyway, since I have 2 more minutes left, I am a financial coach. The world has changed drastically when it comes to the financial environment and culture. And one of the things that I do is I sit down with families, predominantly, or individuals, a lot of women. I work with a lot of women, and I help them develop a game plan. And I do it through a program that's like a financial GPS. Tells you where you are, where you're going, and exactly in detail how you're going to get there. So most people are going to fail today because they have a lack of awareness and a lack of education. One of the biggest areas that people are not aware of is the impact and effect on the purchasing dollar because of inflation. And so we forecast it. We put a financial plan together and forecast that if you want to live on $10,000 a month in today's dollars, but you're not retiring for 15 years, we show people what it's going to have to be 15 years from now. And then inflation doesn't go away once you retire. It continues to grow year after year. But we work with we do that GPS for free. And it's just I had a young lady on the other day. She's done very well for herself, but she was scared, nervous, had no idea. I just don't know how I'm doing. She's got a 14-year-old little girl. But by the time we were done with the financial GPS, she was comforted and felt secure not because of me, but the GPS showed her that all of the things that she had been doing to be disciplined and committed to her financial future, becoming secure and sustainable, were paying off. They were going to pay off. So now she knows it's no longer a mystery. She has numbers. And so that's part of what I do. And again, there's so much that's changed out there that it's really good to get a new roadmap, a new game plan.
Mhm.
Thank
I
you,
would like
Dr.
to
Madeline.
say,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Dr. Madeline. This was a great reminder, and we're all trying so hard, and to have it, in front of you and write it on a piece of paper like that calendar, and keeping in mind what is this hour or 2 hours of the day. That was great. So thank you.
You're welcome, Stone.
Thank you.
If I may, Angeline, I'd like to say to Dr. Madeline that this was a gift to me. It was quite refreshing, the whole entire thing.
Oh, wow.
The way that you started off, the honesty that you shared with us, that you were going full throttle. And I would almost be willing to bet, and I always only speak for me, that most everyone here is going full throttle. And it's time to sit back and reassess everything and go from just existing to honoring your life and what you're here to do and your purpose. So I thank
Yes.
you from my heart to yours. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It gives me comfort that you said everyone, because I thought maybe I was the only one.
No.
Oh, no.
Dr. Madeline,
Yes, Susie.
I think your presentation was actually spot on. And I loved how you talked about going from overwhelmed to organized, because I think a lot of us, a lot of people out there also think that if they're overwhelmed, it's a state they can't get out of. And they don't know the first step, which you did, identifying a calendar and hours of the day and little pieces to try to pinpoint each thing instead of just existing in this flutter of, oh my God, what am I going to do? So that was beautifully, beautifully laid out.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Susie.
Thank you.
So now we're going to do an introduction, because I want each one of you to introduce yourself. And again, this is, as you know, in my meeting, I do time us, including myself, because as you know, that we in this group, in this meeting, we learn every month how we can be better in introduce ourselves so others will pay attention what we have to say, and in 60 seconds. So I will do that, and I'm gonna start. And okay, can you stop sharing? Okay, let's stop sharing here. Okay. Oh, oh, okay. I don't know what the question is. Okay, so we're going to have everybody get a chance to introduce themselves, and it will be 1 minute, okay? And I will have the time, and I'm gonna always start with Susie first because she's so great in giving me an example. So Susie, you're gonna start, introduce yourself, and so you have 60 seconds. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Dr. Susie Mearswick, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. My best-selling book is Sow in Tears, Reap in Joy, in which I share the 3 key IOUs of survival, no matter what you've been through in life: looking in, looking out, and looking up. My business is Stem Cell Regeneration, where I help my clients to get a hold of the health issues in their life that could waylay them so that they can live more energetically, fully, and without pain. And you can contact me on my website, susiemearswick.com. Thank you.
See, she did it in what, 30 seconds, but yet I remember what exactly she said. So that is what, and I know that Dr. Madeline, you are a speaker, but I like to give you an opportunity to also introduce yourself. So, because I think that would be great for us to know coming from you. So go ahead, Dr. Madeline.
Yeah, well, appreciate that. Thank you. Well, probably my greatest accomplishment and my husband's, because we partner in business, is we really have the ability to hire, train, and develop individuals into a successful position with our company. And as I said earlier, I've got some individuals that are making multi-hundred thousands of dollars. But what those people do is we build teams, and those teams are teams that go into Main Street families and help them understand the rules of how to win the money game. So we teach and educate concepts and then provide solutions so that they can be successful.
Thank you. So, and next, I see, I look by the pictures that who I see next, so then I can go through this. And it's Kay Sheffield. Go ahead, Kay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kay Sheffield. I didn't put the Dr. HC on there, but I'm in Southern California, in Calamasa, and I like to just help people feel better, do better, know the Lord through what they're going through. I'm an author and a wellness expert on different things of having to do with health. My email is KAYE, like my name, underscore SLP, which stands for Speech Language Pathologist at msn.com. And I'll put that in the chat. And I'm just delighted to be here. Thank you, Madeline. I appreciate your sharing of us and your sharing of your home, your life, and your structure. And I want to have that more in my life. So I really, really appreciate that talk today.
Thank you. Sorry, I started late, but and so I want to make sure everybody can see and hear, just help you because it helped me when I do this. So how long your introduction is. And thank you so much, Kay. The next person is Dr. Patricia Crane. You muted?
Yep, got it. There we go. Okay, yes, thank you. I'm Dr. Patricia Crane, and I'm an author, trainer, and speaker. I primarily train women for a new career as workshop leaders and life coaches. I was personally trained by author Louise Hay, who had a best-selling book. It sold 55 million copies worldwide. And from that connection with her, it just evolved into her approving a training program. And we don't train everyone personally. We have some trainers as well around the world, but there are now about 3,000 Heal Your Life workshop leaders and life coaches around the world in 71 countries and 41 US states. So that's been very, very exciting. And it's basically about teaching women to love themselves. I mean, we welcome men into the training as well, but truthfully, it's probably 85 to 90% women over the 25, almost 30 years now that we've been doing this. And I'm also an author, Ordering from the Cosmic Kitchen, all about affirmations. Okay, and I think that's my time.
Thank you.
So,
and next is Holly Porter. Holly.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Holly Porter. I'm a 15-time author, speaker, and philanthropist. I'm the founder and CEO of Retreat R&R. We help retreat leaders create extraordinary experiences. We have a concierge service that we take the stress out of planning by connecting you with the perfect venues, managing logistics, and providing expert support every step of the way. We'd love to handle your details on your events so you can focus on leading life-changing retreats. Let's retreat forward together. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. And next, I see the pictures. Dr. Stone Love.
Hello, I'm glad to be here today. I have been missing in action for a long time. I am Dr. Stone Love Foray, and I am a club Pilates instructor. And this has been the most rewarding position of my life. I have been an insurance agent for New York Life. I worked a long time. I understand what Dr. Madeline was talking about as far as the finances and but this Pilates, moving my body every day and teaching people how to stay healthy and how to move healthily and how to commit to themselves, it's just been wonderful. So I'm happy that I had time today to come and join you all, and I'm going to try and do that more often. Thank you.
Thank you. To talk about Pilates, and that is one of my top priorities in my life. And my husband knows that is I do this 3 times a week. The only time I don't do this if I travel or if I'm sick. And I don't even deviate that. If somebody asks me to come to meeting, it has to be something really important. And then I have to replace the time. So I can't cancel. If I can find another time, I do it. If I can't, I will not attend that. Because to me, that is my commitment to my health. And I love it. It's very good for your body, especially as we age, right?
Mhm.
We lost our core, and our core is very important for us to stay balanced. So thank you, Dr. Stone. And now next is Joy Ruffin. Joy.
Oh my goodness, what an honor to be here today. I'm with Dr. Stone. I am Joy Ruffin, and the work that I do is as a leadership and signature style specialist. And in conjunction with that, a personal development strategist. I've heard so many speak to women today. We're all working more or less with women. I'm all about power for women, pure, total, genuine equality and divineness, divine masculine and feminine. We embrace it and we stand in our power. I'm all about what we as women can do together when we collaborate and work together. I love the conversations thus far and everything that I've heard because we're looking for leaders who lead with style and in their divine power. And it's just not your appearance and your image. And there's nothing shallow about that. It's showing up and owning who you are and not just existing brain, body, beauty. It's all combined. And Angeline ended with the right word, balance. We're all seeking balance. And that's what Dr. Madeline shared with us as well today. Different verbiage, but the same underlining meaning. Great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know I have a special ask for Joy that she is actually having, and I am joining this. She's offered a free 45 minutes webinar, a style power. And I attended years ago about similar, but it's not the same. It's about the color, choosing the color, how you would look your best, especially I think in virtual, in person. So I like to share that that is going to be on Tuesday, February 11 at noon Pacific Standard Time. Is that correct, Joy?
It's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah,
That is
so it's
correct.
it's at noon Pacific Standard Time, and it's free. So if it's something that you have the time for that, you can do that. And I put that in my calendar because that is to me important to again learn more about color, how you can look your best, to choose the color that you want. in your style. So thank you.
Will you be putting that information in the chat?
Yeah, Joy, can you put that in the chat, please?
I put it in the chat. It's in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So next is we have Evelyn Gray. Evelyn.
Hi, everyone. Organizing is what you do before you do something. So when you do it, it's not all mixed up. My name's Evelyn Gray of Organizing for Success, and I'm a productivity and stress management coach, consultant, speaker, and best-selling author. And I want to make it fun until it's done by teaching you how to have a neat mess so you have less stress and mess, so you have more success in my Steps to Success coaching program. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. So remember, if you can't find it in 30 seconds, it's in the wrong place.
Thank you. And thank you. Now, last but not least is our photographer, Joan.
Hello, ladies. Oh, I guess I should come on. Hello, I'm Joan Ritter-Ward, television producer, filmmaker, professional photographer, and I'm also a best-selling author and a speaker. And okay, I'm working on the 60-second thing now. All right, so I am, I can show you how to change your life in a snap. So what I do is I use photography to help people make life changes. And these are pictures you take yourself. So you learn how to create photos that is going to bring about what it is you are looking for to help you to achieve your goal or achieve your goal or what it is you want to do. So this is using phototherapy techniques, which is something that is, you'd be surprised at what you can learn through photographs and taking them. So that is all I have to say at this point, even though I'm very excited. Oh,
thank you.
All
I
right.
love taking pictures. Like my husband always teases me whenever I go something, I like to take pictures. And one of them, I like to take pictures of dogs when I travel, and then when I look back and I say, oh, he's so cute and stuff, and make me smile, and I like that. So
Right.
make me smile, make me happy when I see dog from different places. So I do that beside taking pictures of everything else that I seen, when I travel. So anyway, I want to make sure that you put in the chat any event or anything that you are going to ask, like host or any event that you would like to do. So please do that. And I want to make sure to put it in the chat. And the next one, before the exciting drawing, I like to make sure that I know Dr. Patricia Crane is here. She is going to be our speaker for next month's meeting. And her topic will be success strategies for women on the go. So she will be our speaker for next month, March 6th. And I hope you can come, and the flyers will be emailed several times, within the starting next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Angeline, can I just say that
Sure.
actually what I'm going to be speaking on next month really follows beautifully from what Dr. Madeline was talking about.
Oh,
Because
yes.
it's some additional tips and how to do things in a little different way, but it's a good follow-up, I think.
Yes, exactly. So thank you. And so any author in here? Any author? Oh, Dr. Madeline, you also have do you have a book that you're author?
For myself, I've collaborated with the GSFE books.
Oh, which one?
It's all about showing up.
The number 3?
Yep, and then also
number 2? It's number 2?
Number 2, and then World Peace Book.
Oh, the World Peace Book. Okay. So, I always like to promote authors in my meeting. And my rule is I always have to give criteria as that you have to be GSFE members, number 1. Number 2, you have to show up. Like I learned from Robbie, if you don't show up, how I can promote you as an author. Okay, so I buy the book and then I draw the books. So I like to, because you're the presenter today, and I actually like for you, Dr. Madeline, to choose which book that you want me to buy, and then maybe you have 60 seconds to tell me what is your story in that book. Which one would you like to choose? Oh, you muted.
It's all about showing up, and it's all in the ask. So my story in that book is from which I came. So I came to this company that I've been with for 42 years. I was a 23-year-old girl, and I grew up in a pretty tough way. My dad was a 27-year career Marine. Unfortunately, he did not know how to raise children. He only knew how to raise military troops. So I grew up in a very abusive home and ended up living in a neighborhood that was considered the hood, gang members, the whole bit, when my dad went off and served in Vietnam. And so my story is finding redemption. Because I moved in the neighborhood when I was about 12 years old, and obviously I hit the streets, because that's what you do as a kid. And my friends were all the people in the hood and that type of thing. But at 16, we made a trip down to Coronado with all my friends, all my crazy friends, and I saw the Coronado Bridge lit up at night, and it was an awakening for me to realize that there was a much bigger world out there that I did not know and that I really wanted to get to know it and experience. So I stopped being the girl on the street. I stopped doing parties. At age 16, I had the seeded desire that I was going to get out of that neighborhood. So when this company came along and said you could do well here, I have no college degree. My father's attitude is, why would I educate you? You're not worthy. So I came out of my upbringing as a young, severely abused young woman with no self-worth. And so when this company came along and said you could do well here, I literally looked over my shoulder to see, who are you talking to? It can't be talking to me. And I had at least, I don't know if I could say I had the courage. I just know I had no other options. I had no other options but to step in. And scared, frightened, no confidence. That was 42 years ago, 42 and a half years ago.
Thank you. So this book, and this is the one that show up book 2, right?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I will purchase that book, and
Awesome.
so I am going to draw, and I'm going to share with you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, I have to stop recording because